Welcome to part 20 module 1 computer networks. So far the previous 19 videos that we dedicated for this subject module 1, we covered the basic terminologies associated with computer network, and we saw the major functionalities, the mandatory and the optional functionalities, and a brief overview of them, then the layered concept and the protocol interfaces, many things we've seen, and that covers the basic background of computer network course. And now we move on to a more important topic, or the main topic of this particular module, that is reference models. And you know that this is something I already mentioned also, the popular or the important network architectures which are popularly referred in the computer network literature. So the first one, the OSI reference model, the Open System Interconnection. It is expanded as OSI, Open System Interconnection reference model, and is being standardized by ISO, so we call it as the ISO OSI reference model also. And the other one, the TCP IP model, Transmission Control Protocol bar Internet Protocol, TCP IP. So actually TCP and IP are two core or the major protocols used in that particular reference model, and the model is named after these protocols. And OSI, it is something, it's got its name from the concept of open system which are ready to connect to any network, something that we already seen in our basic discussion. Okay, that about the models. Now, even if this TCP/IP is referred as a reference model, but it is a more practical model actually. In the sense, the reference ISO OSI reference model is something put forward as a reference model, and it is being used as a reference model only still now. In the sense that when we come up with the design of any computer network architecture, it can be referred as a reference architecture, but the model as a whole is not implemented anywhere. But TCP/IP is a practical model in the sense that reference model is a more abstract, in the sense most of the detailed explanation that is being given by OSI reference model is minimized, in the sense the minimum things were put forward in TCP/IP model, and that is being used as a practical model. And it is the most dominated model also. So most of the network architecture that we are currently having are TCP/IP reference model based, and still we have other network architectures also, maybe. But whatever it is, the basic reference model which will be followed is the ISO OSI model. So we will start our discussion in detail with ISO OSI reference model, and at the end we will make a brief introduction to TCP/IP, and we will compare each other, and we will wind up the module. So that is how we will be proceeding. But as I already told you, I will be spending some more time into this module, because it is going to give you the kind of background for the entire course. So you should spend more time. As you are spending more time, in the sense in the upcoming modules, the effort and time which you have to spend will be less, in the sense most of the basic idea you are already having, and on that pillars we will be developing our further knowledge. So although the protocols associated with the OSI model are not used anymore, the model itself is actually quite general and still valid, and the features of each layer are very important. So that is what I already told you, like even though it put forward as a reference model, the protocols associated with the model are not widely used. In the sense, the protocols which are associated with the TCP/IP reference model are currently in use, but OSI is providing a background of such protocol, and it is giving a very well detailed explanation on this layering concept and functionalities of each layer, the protocols associated with each layer. Like that it is proceeding, and it is a very worth understanding this OSI reference model in details to get a background on the entire course. So now when you look into this TCP/IP model, the TCP/IP model has the just opposite properties. The model itself is not much used, but the protocols are widely used. Okay, and this is just working in the opposite sense, like what I already told you. The TCP/IP is a more practical oriented model, where OSI is a reference model. So that different standard we will see in the upcoming discussion. Now we will move on to this OSA reference model and its discussion in detail. The OSA model is based on a proposal developed by the International Standardized Standards Organization. Let me correct, I made a mistake. I mean, this model is printed 2 times. Okay, let's continue. So it is developed by the International Standards Organization ISO as a first step towards the international standardization of the protocols used in various layers. So the ISO OSA reference model is the one from which onwards the protocols get internationally standardized. So it was revised in 1995 and the model is called the ISO OSA, that is Open System Interconnection Reference Model, or OSA model in short, because it deals with connecting open systems. So that is how the naming is done. It is dealing with how the open systems were interconnected to each other. So that is the system that are open for communication with other systems. So we are looking at open systems only, not closed system. So the 7 layers you can view like this. It started with, or you can go in any direction. So if you are going from the lower layer to higher layer, we have the physical layer or the layer 1, and the physical layer is otherwise called the layer 1 of the 7 layer architecture, and data link layer, that is layer 2, network layer, layer 3, and layer 4 the transport layer, and layer 5 the session layer, and layer 6 the presentation layer, and finally the last 7th layer, layer 7 the application layer. And we will see each of these layer in detail and how we come up with these layers and their protocols, everything. And at the sender and the receiver side we will be running this particular network software, and the software will be going through all these 7 layers. So the 7 layers is applicable at the sender and the receiver side. And if you look at these 7 layers, the heart of the OSA layer is nothing but the transport layer. And to understand why it is called as the heart of OSA layer, we have to see more discussion onto this layer, and that we will see in the maybe at the end of the module. One module is dedicated for this transport layer and its major protocols, and that time we will see that in detail. And if you look at the lower layers, you can see that they are mostly dealing with the hardware. So we can call them as the hardware layers, mainly the physical layer, data link layer, network layer. So as we move up, softwares are mostly involved, but physical layer is somewhat purely hardware with very little bit software usage, and data link layer, the software use some more improved or more usage of software you can see, but still it is having direct dealing with the hardware. And network layer, again the routing algorithms, everything we have to run some software on the background. So but still the hardware is dominated in these layers, so we can call them as hardware layers. But we move on to the higher layers, they are purely software oriented, that is session layer, presentation layer, and application layer. Or these 3 layers are actually dealing with the user or the actual program, right? Because when the user is trying to communicate and the interface that the user is dealing with is actually the application layer, the higher layer, the software layer. And this presentation layer and session layer is actually coming as part of the application layer when it comes to that TCP IP model. So in OSA reference model we are dividing like 7, and we will see each layer in detail and how the functionalities are to be grouped into different layer, everything. And some principles that are applied to arrive at the 7 layers, the layering concept and their principle, everything we already seen, but I am just listing out for the sake of completion. And these principles are taken from the Tannenbaum textbook. So a layer should be created where a different abstraction is needed. Okay. And that layer is giving some implementation and it's providing an abstract view of it to the higher layers, and each layer should perform a well-defined function. The same thing is stated in different ways actually, well-defined function, and it is providing an abstract view of its functionality to the layers above it. And through that interface the higher layers can access these functionalities, and the functionalities has to be well defined for a particular layer. So the function of each layer should be chosen with an eye toward defining internationally standardized protocols. So that is also another thought process while coming up with a particular layer and its functionality. Some standardized, internationally standardized protocols should be developed for doing the important tasks of that particular layer. And with that protocol also in mind, the layers were developed. The layer boundaries should be chosen to minimize the information flow across the interfaces. In the sense, if you are splitting the same set of functionality over two layers, then they have to highly communicate each other, right? Or the information flow between the layers will be high. So it should not be the case. You have to choose the layer boundaries, or what are all the things to be added into a particular layer, that you have to choose in such a way that the minimum communication should be there between the layers, and that communication should be possible through that abstraction, or that interface. Okay, and without much details. The number of layers should be large enough and at the same time small enough. Okay, both criteria you have to meet. It should be large enough that distinct functions need not be thrown together in the same layer out of necessity, and small enough that the architecture does not become complex and unwieldy. So both you have to keep in mind, and in that way they come up with 7 layers as an approximate number. It is neither large enough and small enough. So minimum, if you keep on dividing into smaller layer, and most of the complications it will add, that we don't want. And at the same time, it should not be it means too much less, like if I am dividing into 3 layers or 5 layers, then many of the functionality I have to group together, right? And that also not a good thing. So that about the principles applied to arrive at the 7 layers of the ISO OSI reference model. And we will see more into this in the upcoming discussion.